All right, let's go ahead and get into the topics for today. I got a couple of things to hit to cover. First off, Tuesday morning, members of the representatives of the National Sheriff's Association (NSA), no relation, all gathered at the White House to basically fillet Donald Trump. Sources say he was very appreciative. And of course, all this can be seen in the video that I will link below if you really want to watch the whole thing. I mean, seriously, they were laying it on thick. Like, oh, Mr. President, all the people in my county voted for you. We just love you so much. Just the whole freaking thing. But there were a couple of interesting moments. Or more concerning than anything else. For example, about 9 minutes in, this fucking guy, Danny Glick from Laramie County, Wyoming, made sure that voice his very real concerns to the president, his concerns that the, overreaching EPA regulations were causing higher crime rates in his county. And that the EPA regulations, well, they put the good folks in the coal industry out of business. And you see that contributes to crime. Like, well, shit, Danny. He's right. I mean, you can't argue with that kind of logic. Let's get rid of him. Get rid of the EPA. And hell, that will actually work wonderfully. I mean, more than he even realizes. Because, we can get rid of the EPA. Coal companies can just go and just pollute the air, pollute the water, lakes and streams and all that. And eventually, the crime rate will drop to zero. Of course, the planet's going to be uninhabitable, but, it's a small price to pay, right? Okay, so, moving on. Oh, that picture. Okay, moving on. About 20 minutes in, we get to the main subject that I initially watched it for, and that was civil asset forfeiture. Something that Donald Trump totally supports, but really has no idea what it is. Big surprise. Well, civil asset forfeiture is basically a thing where if the police, it gives the law enforcement officials the power to seize assets and money and things like that, which they then get to keep on the basis of probable cause. So basically, you don't have to be convicted of a crime. You don't have to necessarily be arrested for a crime, I don't believe. Although I'm pretty sure that's usually the way it would go. But yeah, they can essentially seize assets, seize money, car, property, whatever. And they now own it without you actually being convicted of a crime. And one sheriff from, I believe, Rockwall County, Texas, said to the president, in Texas we have a state senator that wanted to propose legislation that would require a conviction before we could get that forfeiture money. And Trump's response was essentially, who is the senator? You want to give his name? We'll destroy his career. Old Donnie just being Donnie. Well, that generated some responses from various places and from various people. Most notably from this individual here. This is Pennsylvania State Senator Daylin Leach, who has been fighting civil forfeiture in his state of Pennsylvania for a while. And he took issue with Trump's position, as well as the threat to destroy a state senator's career over this issue. So he took to Twitter with this response. Hey, I oppose civil asset forfeiture too. Why don't you come after me, you fascist loofah-faced shit gibbon. Good on you, Senator Leach. I support this. Which, by the way, in case you were wondering, curious, just in case you were, that's a gibbon. Oh, wait, sorry. Can you see the resemblance? Oh, man, that's awesome. I love it when you actually have some happy or joyful, humorous things to talk about. But anyway, moving on. I almost kind of want to just leave this right here up on the screen. That's gold right there. All right, well, go on. Okay. All right, next subject of the day. President Bannon, Trump, appears to have some issues with the new START treaty. President Trump according to an article in Reuters, had a phone call with Vladimir Putin on Thursday. Among other things that they discussed were, among some of the subjects they discussed was the new START treaty that was put into effect by President Obama in 2010. 2010? Yeah. Yeah, 2010. Anyway, now, White House, according to the Reuters article, White House sources said that in a phone call to Vladimir Putin, Trump denounced the treaty, saying that it was a bad deal for the U.S. The sources said that when Putin raised the possibility of extending the treaty, Trump had to ask an aide to tell him what the treaty was. Okay, so it's a bad deal. Wait, what is the treaty? Hang on, I need to confer. What up, putz? Anyway, Trump then told Putin that the treaty was one of several bad deals negotiated by the Obama administration, saying that the new START treaty favored Russia. Also, during a debate during the 2016 election, Trump said that Russia had outsmarted the U.S. with the treaty, which he called START Up, and asserted incorrectly that it had allowed Russia to continue building nuclear weapons while the U.S. couldn't, which is actually incorrect. Now, I was curious about this treaty and okay, how does it, what's in it, what's going on with it? Well, I looked it up, and I was actually able to download a copy of it and read it, word for word. You're welcome, by the way. And I found nothing in the provisions that favors one country over the other. It's like a complete fair split. They can have just as many weapons as we can, in the same configurations, in the same locations, in the same kind of deployments, everything, the same as us. So that got me thinking, okay, well, why is he, I get during the election, he's an idiot. He watches like Fox News or something, and they may have said something about it. But why, now that he's in office, surrounded by aides and people who, know what they're doing, why does he still insist that make claims that are, at least per the text of the actual treaty, are incorrect? And then it hit me. This guy, I'm sure, was there too. This, of course, being Steve Bannon, Trump's basically BFF, special advisor, and the owner of Breitbart News, the hard right news organization that likes to put out various bullshit that they, fake news, essentially. Ironically enough. Now, interesting coincidence, in 2010, who was actually running articles saying that, well, the New START treaty that Obama wanted to sign and make with Russia favored Russia over the U.S. and restricted, cut back our ability to defend ourselves. Bingo. Breitbart. So, really, pretty obvious where he's getting his info from, isn't it? Alright, well, moving on. Third and final topic for today. DNC chairman hopeful Tom Perez. He is the former Secretary of Labor under President Obama, and is currently sort of running against a few others, but for the most part, the big well-known opponent is Keith Ellison. Now, Keith Ellison was like Bernie Sanders' pick or favorite for DNC chairman. Perez is Obama's favorite, and Clinton, as far as I know. I mean, not that it's like need to even bother asking her, but basically he's sort of seen as the establishment candidate. Now, interesting thing, he was at a function in Kansas where he actually said something surprising. Since usually the establishment line for the moment seems to be that, oh well, we don't really know why we lost the election, as opposed to admitting that all the shit that went down during the primary with Bernie, and them trying to weigh everything, push everything towards Clinton, and then when they finally got her, big friggin' surprise when all of Bernie's supporters were like, no, this is bullshit, I'm staying home. But anyway, moving on, or continuing on. Anyway, he was at this function, and he said this: "We heard loudly and clearly yesterday from Bernie supporters that the process was rigged, and it was. And you've got to be honest about it. That's why we need a chair who is transparent." Now, he made a response after that. Like, later that night, he took to Twitter as sort of a follow-up. And this was it. "I have been asked by friends about a quote and want to make clear what I said and that I misspoke." So, wow, that tune changed quickly. Looks like maybe a donor or two made a little phone call and got his ass back in line. Hang on, I got something that's perfect for this. Oh, it gets better. And that is why he's the wrong pick for DNC chair. More of the same. In fact, he actually goes on to say at that same function, is basically from what he has said at that function, that basically he's like, they're out there trying to get Republicans. If you need more confirmation that, other than this, that he's the same old song and dance that everyone's sick of, is that he's basically out there trying to get more white, rural, conservative voters. And that's the same strategy that they tried last time, and they've tried before that, and it's not going to work anymore. And that's where they completely ignore the fact that there's more than just Democrats and Republicans. And instead what they keep trying to go after Republicans. So because of that, they keep moving towards the center and towards the right and towards the right. And then of course, as that happens, the Republicans go like more and more off the friggin' scale on the right. And it's all in the hopes that the Democrats will be able to kind of like steal away a couple of the slightly less crazy Republicans. Never mind the fact that, that's what we're doing. He wants to try to win over freaking Republicans. Why? The last election, or on average, election-wise, about between 40 to 60% of voting age Americans don't vote. So we have, let's average out, let's say half. We've got half the country out there that does not even vote. Why are you going after the ones who do not want to vote for a liberal? Why don't you go after half the country that can vote but doesn't? And that's what we need. We need new people to get more of the country involved and interested and actually giving a shit. And this ain't gonna do it. All right, shaving off, bringing over 2 or 3 more Republicans, sort of centrist Republicans from Kansas, ain't gonna win you the election, Tom. But anyway, that's it. That's it for today. As always, links in the description. Like, comment, subscribe. See you next time.